Alice, she, her from Sweden, has been on the line the longest, and she would like to ask us about the morality of the moral acceptability of having children, which I think is an interesting question. I guess I'd have to let you phrase it, Alice, because I'm not 100% sure what you're asking.
Yes. Hi. So it's not the easiest to explain. I'd say that it's a moral and philosophical conundrum more than anything else. And it's this idea that some people are come into this world with no real ability to not really like to make a choice for like or there's no way to stop them having a very depressing experience with their life.
Like they're born into bad circumstances.
Yeah. Yes. And my idea there is like no one can really control it. A parent can't control it necessarily, especially if it's like some physical trait that they're born with or similar. And then my conundrum has become this like, if we cannot control this, is it moral to, in a sense, force someone into existence that they did not, like they cannot have wished for it ahead of time because it didn't exist ahead of time, but they came to be as a result of someone else's actions, and they had no say in like how their existence is.
Yeah.
Sorry if that is vague.
No, that makes perfect sense, Alice. And maybe I have a weird take on this, but I feel like it's always selfish to have kids because they can't say whether or not they want to exist, even if you know you have a great lot in life and you think that you're going to be able to bring them up well. Some bad thing is going to happen to them at some point. So it's like you are necessarily bringing someone into a world of at least some suffering. But at the same time, like, can you say it's wrong? I don't know if I would go so far as to say that it's wrong, even if you can't necessarily give them a good life. I mean, if you are being, like, neglectfully irresponsible to the point where you are having children left and right that you have no means of caring for, and the options and the opportunities to not be having kids are all there, I guess that's like... I guess that's kind of ethically iffy. But I guess that it matters more to me what you do with your kids once you've had them than the moral conundrum of whether or not you should have them, you know, because even people in bad circumstances could still end up being good parents who do their best to give their kids good lives.
Yeah, no, I can see where that is. It's just this thing that has absorbed my mind more or less. As like I basically read about this topic. I got I started to believe that it is morally unjust to do it. Like that doesn't mean that it shouldn't happen anyways, but it's like I just couldn't get over the belief that it was morally unjust. But it's something I haven't been able to like have any conviction over, and it's something I'm really just like struggled thinking about.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think anybody who's ever had a teenager has probably heard that objection at one point or another, usually punctuated by a slammed door. But let me ask you, Alice, would you rather be alive or not ever have existed? What would be the preferable state for you?
So, okay, if I had never existed, then
but you do.
There would...
But you do. So I'm asking the person who exists.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
and that's why I think it's such a moral like why it's so difficult, because someone who doesn't exist, you don't really have to account for them. Like, they cannot suffer because they never exist to have suffered. But once you start existing, you have this instinct to survive, which
Absolutely.
like even people who try to kill them, or I don't know if maybe that's a bit too heavy of a topic.
No, that's fine. Again, like, we can't really gauge the experience of those who don't exist or never existed. The only thing that we can go on when we're trying to arrive at a position when it comes to a moral choice is we have to go by the experiences of those around us, right, and decide what's best. So again, I would ask you, what would your preferred state be? I'm guessing you would rather be alive than dead, right?
Rather be alive than dead. But when it comes to alive rather than not having existed, meaning that none of the expectations and so forth about having existed, such as like relationships with others and
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'll let Lianna weigh in on this, but I want to leave you with a quote from a famous atheist who said, "We are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they're never going to be born. The potential people who could have been here in my place, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumber the sand grains of Arabia. Certainly those unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. We know this because the possible people allowed by our DNA so massively exceeds the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, it is extraordinary that you and I, in all of our ordinariness, are here." Basically, we're lucky to be alive. What do you think, Lianna?
I think we are all here for a reason. That we all are here for a journey that's important for each of us. And sometimes you can't know at early stages what that is, or maybe even later stages what that is, or maybe you never really know even your entire life, but you are part of a collective of energetic beings, and you are here, and you are important, and you are needed and wanted
Yeah,
and loved.
I'm not sure that I would agree with having a specific purpose in being here, but I will say readily that I think that in my life I've affected more people for the better than I have for the worse. And, you know, if I had a choice of having existed or not existed, knowing now that I probably spent my life affecting more people positively, I would have preferred to exist. You know, the you existing in this world, despite having not made the choice to do it, is at least affecting some other people for the better. The other people that also didn't choose to be here have had their lives enriched by you.
Exactly. Exactly. And you may only affect one person, and that might be all that you're here for. Or you might
Yeah.
affect millions of people, but you are still, I believe, like each individual. I work with a lot of people that live on the streets in Rio de Janeiro. We have an NGO here that feeds people on the streets, and we talk to a lot of homeless people and people that are drug addicts and alcoholics, and every single person, we want to make sure that they understand that they're loved and that they're worthy of their existence is worthy.
Mm.
As difficult as your time might be, it will change. Things do change. Things do change. They go through cycles. So cycles are different for different people. Sometimes it can be a longer cycle, sometimes a shorter cycle, and so yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I am. Yeah,
It sounds like you're still
also
struggling with that a little bit, Alice.
definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those moral quandaries that isn't really super easy to just give a definitive answer on. This is just three people's opinions. That doesn't negate any of the philosophy or research that you've done on the topic. This is just three random people giving their 2 cents.
Yeah. No, it's something I've wanted to really discuss with people because it's a controversial topic. Like, let's say that we could pin down that it was morally unjust to do so. Like, that would have very severe implications for our society.
Well, somebody would have to make that decision, morally unjust, and who's going to do that?
Right. I don't think that collectively as a species that we would all be like on board with that. Like, I can't imagine us as a whole unit of mankind getting to the point where we'd be like, nah, procreating is probably bad. None of us are going to do it anymore. Like, we'd all have to decide that together to make it stop happening, and that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah. But it's because of that, it becomes this, like, to discuss it with some people, it can become like this entire mental block. I feel. But anyways, thank you for having me. It was really nice hearing about you, Lianna. I hope I pronounced it right. With the opening up a relationship, it's just really cool to hear. So thank you for that, and maybe I'll call in about other things another time.
All right.
Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alice.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was kind of heavy to get into right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if she was talking, like, it almost seemed like at first she was wanting to get into natalism and the problem of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of got away from that a little bit.